Hey guys, and welcome back to Become a God, and this is Season 2, so we're going to be splitting Become a God into seasons based on the ladder season itself. So the first 9 episodes we had Season 1, and now we're going to kick off Season 2. We're starting from rank 10 and building our way up to God rank. Now, I have had requests in the comments to brew something spicy, and I have been testing a cheeky little deck I've been working on, but I don't feel it's quite ready to show you guys yet, because I need to figure out some more things about it, but I will feature that in an episode very soon. It's a very silly deck, but it looks like a lot of fun to play, and I've been enjoying it. And it's a control deck, but with a very explosive finish, featuring blue and yellow. But for this episode, we're going to actually play some yellow tempo to start climbing up the ranks. This is a list that ESofDawn used to win the Hex Templar tournament. So just a very solid yellow tempo list built by ESofDawn, and I'm going to pilot it through this episode. Yellow tempo is a great deck to choose on ladder climbing, simply because it can tackle every matchup, given the right draws and given the right momentum. So this is a good deck to get used to, especially if you want to get into competitive Faeria. So let's get to the matches and see how it performs. Alright guys, into the first match. Just going to mulligan all of this. We're looking for an early collector. Fnatic could probably suit that build for us, but we generally just want to find like maybe demons. Fnatic's not too bad as well. Manta Rider is something we want to build up towards. So yeah, that would be fantastic for us. So I am gonna start off with Fnatic, and it looks like my opponent is going to rush me down. Now I have been playing it against a little bit of rush today. Outland Ranger would be perfect here, but unfortunately I don't have access to it. So I'm not going to play the Fnatic now because it just dies to the Mace Man. I'd rather get the Manta Rider down and clear. Manta Rider is a fantastic defensive card. The thing with Manta Rider is just generally an amazing card in general. Basically because it can defend because it's durable, it can attack because it's durable. It's got a great stat line as well as a 5/3. I can place this just in the middle to block. It probably is going to get Cypher's Raft after the Manta Rider's been cleared, so that little Manta's just going to get killed. But I could just play more aggressive if I want to. I could go for Manta Rider here, then I could Fnatic it up to this position, and then I could start applying pressure myself, and maybe try and set up for a Colossus in the future. Alternatively, I could play a Manta Rider here, let my opponent have the 4 damage, then use the Flash Wind to move up. Double collect along the way. Maybe we pick up another event, maybe like a Last Nightmare or something, and then we could maybe dash up a Colossus if we get that Last Nightmare and try and just race my opponent. Or I could go, like I said, for the more defensive line. The problem is my hand doesn't really offer much in terms of defenses outside of the Manta Rider and the Wind Soldier, so anything with more than 3 life becomes a bit of an issue. So I'm going to take a more risky line here, guys. We're gonna experiment with playing to our outs. Now, what I mean by that is we just analyze the board state, analyze the situation, and look at the best possible way that we can win this game. And I've identified that I feel the best possible way for me to win this match is to attack with this Manta Rider by getting the Flash Wind off, going up, making an aggressive desert, and then just getting down a Colossus. Because the Colossus is going to be pretty difficult for a red player to deal with without just throwing a mountain of removal at it. Now you can see my opponent's a bit hesitant on this Manta Rider. I haven't played it in defensive position, I've played it in a double collection position. So unless my opponent has a really strong follow-up, like maybe like a Crumbling Golem, something like that, you know, something with high attack, which he can race me with, might think, actually, I need to clear this Manta Rider before it gets out of hand and starts double collecting, which I wouldn't be too surprised at. So it looks like we are going to see a Queen's Guard, so that's not going to be enough to stop us because we do have that Flash Wind. So we're gonna stay consistent here. We're just going to Flash Wind our friend out of the way here, move straight across, go for an aggressive desert, go for the Colossus, and hit for 5. So we are now racing our opponent with a 7/7 and a 5/3. This Queen's Guard is well out of position. It can't even hit our orb this turn. So my opponent's going to have to rely on using removal to slow down the damage, but the 7/7 Colossus just represents such a threat, such an amazing amount of damage. You know, that guy's going to do 14 damage over 2 turns. My opponent only has 15 life. If I was to pick up a campfire now, I'd be in a pretty good position. But, you know, what I'm looking for is probably more removal. Soul Drains are really good in this position, not so much because they can clear anything, but it just gives me a bit of life to stay alive with. It's going to be a Grimguard? It's going to be a Grimguard, okay. So we're still in a decent situation to race at this point. I just need to decide what to do next. It's very hard to stop this damage going through next turn. I think I just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're looking at 9 damage from the hit with this Grimguard, but I do set up lethal regardless. So yeah, we just hit for 7. Hit the Grimguard. So Wind Soldier. So another Grimguard's really annoying here. And I want to be able to Wind Soldier, I guess. So I'm gonna take a desert here. I guess I could Fanatic on top of this. Okay, we're just going to wait. So, basically, Grimguard is a bit of a pain here. Gift of Steel is just lethal. Yeah, Gift of Steel is lethal. Flame Burst isn't lethal. Cypher's Wrath isn't lethal. Double Cypher's Wrath is lethal. So, my opponent does have a few outs here. Let's see what happens. I think it's just going to be a Gift of Steel, yeah. So, we played to our outs, you know, we went for the more aggressive line. It didn't work out. The Grimguard was able to hold us off, and we didn't have enough Faeria to really follow up after the Colossus. So perhaps the better line there was to be more defensive, because I could have potentially held off and used a Colossus to dash up the middle in a later game. But, you know, it was nice. I think it was nice trying to play the more aggressive tempo-orientated line. This is a yellow tempo deck after all. Things did line up for my opponent quite well in terms of having both the Grimguard and the Gift of Steel. So having both options to keep me at bay and stop me from winning the game. But, you know, I think it was a good experiment in, like I said, playing to your outs. I identified there that my out was playing more aggressive, getting that Colossus down because it was a bit clunky in my hand and trying to win the game. But unfortunately, my opponent did have the answers, which does happen. It is a card game, and this does happen more often than probably people would like. So let's get into our next match, and hopefully we'll do a little bit better. Alright guys, into another match. We are going to mulligan these. I just want an Outland Ranger, ideally. We got the Fanatic back, that's not too bad. This will allow us to set up a Collector. But once again, you know, we're going to prioritize the Manta Rider here. Hopefully not playing against Rush. I've been playing against a lot of Rush today. I'm going to go down the opposite side. Just kind of pass. Like I said, I'm just going to go for the Manta Rider here because I can use the Fanatic to zip it around the board and start clearing collectors and stuff like that. This might be Gemshell Tortoise just by what I can see from the land development. I guess on this next card will determine what we're playing against. It's going to be a Brigand, so it's not going to be a Gemshell Tortoise deck. Yep, so let's get our friend the Manta Rider down, and we'll pass. So my opponent might have Flame Burst Cypher's Wrath as a follow-up, but it's a lot of investment to kill our little Manta Rider. It's 2 cards for 1. I'll take that trade-off. I still have a follow-up play in the Fanatic, so I can still get a Collector down if I want to. We'll see what happens. Gift of Steel. So we have such a great follow-up with the Kaleem's training, and this is one of the reasons why Kaleem's training is so good. It basically lets these guys kill like Grime Shakers and empowered brigands. I'm going to take a draw here. I don't feel like I need any more land. I'm in a pretty good position. I could just Nightmare this. Much more attractive in this position, simply because I get to double collect. I could even go for a face damage now, just to apply pressure. So I set up a double collector here, and now I'm pushing 5 damage. So the last Nightmare top deck, very powerful in that situation. It allows me to keep board control. It allows me to keep this Manta Rider intact as well, which is a very durable creature like I was saying in the last match. This is just going to be a pain to answer. And now I also have this problem as well, the double collector, which can jump on my opponent's mountains. Firestorm into Cypher's Wrath. Yeah, so Firestorm into Cypher's Wrath. Little sad that my opponent had the answer there. But I do find another creature to follow up with, which is very good. Now, I don't want to get bomb slingered, that's for sure, so I feel like I'm just going to double neutral here. I'm just going to stick the Fanatic on the double collection spot. So basically, yeah, I'm just playing around bomb slinger. I want this Fanatic to double collect next turn. I have Wind Soldier, I have Soul Drain, I have a lot of removal in hand, so if I can just keep a creature on board, I'll still keep that economy advantage, and I won't be so hindered if this dies, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble right now, just because I don't have another creature to follow up. But the Wind Soldier's going to answer this really nicely, and then the Fanatic could actually answer this, so I can clear both. I just want a creature to follow up with. Collect 1, 2, 7. Oh man, I really want to win. I want a Wind Soldier Soul Drain Emperor's Command. It's a little greedy, but I just want to get these events out of my hand to reduce the cost of this Colossus. So I'm just considering what to do now. I guess I just draw. Oh, Outland Ranger, okay. So I can clear this, and then I can, Soul Drain Emperor's Command. So why have I chosen to Emperor's Command Soul Drain over Wind Soldier? And the simple answer is Wind Soldier can double collect, but I already double collected with my Fanatic from jumping over here. So I want to get some value out of my Wind Soldier when I get some Faeria, but also I remove 2 events from my hand, which reduces the cost of my Colossus, which is my win condition. So I'm just trying to accelerate my win condition if I can. So now I can just desert here, which is pretty nice, and just take the double collection, like I was talking about, and I can then stick the Outland Ranger in the double collection position for next turn. So I'm forcing my opponent to play very reactive at this point, which works really well for Yellow Tempo. Yellow Tempo wants your opponents to play reactive, because I feel the deck is at its strongest when it's proactive, when it's actually just answering your opponent's answers to your questions. So I have an Outland Ranger now. What's the answer to this? What response does my opponent have? It's just a Grime Shaker. So nothing that exciting. So now I could just clear this with these 3 cards. Reduce this down, which is pretty good, I think. So let's draw. Yeah, so this lines up quite nice for us. Does seem like a big investment here. I'm throwing 3 events to kill this, but next turn I get a Colossus, and my opponent is Faeria starved. And then the following turn I get another Colossus if I get to collect some Faeria. Because even if I collect off 1 well, I'm able to +1 into another Colossus. So yeah, now this is when Yellow Tempo gets in its stride. We've removed the board, we've made our opponent play reactive, we've answered the last collector, and we've slapped that Colossus down, and it's dashed straight up, going for that pressure. And I'm going to follow up with another Colossus, especially if this collects, probably like a desert here, dash onto this mountain, and then just go for the win. Control the board, get your Colossus down, win the game. Easy peasy. And there you go, my opponent not very happy with the outcome of this so far. 2 Colossus just chipping away there. Bomb Slinger. Flame Burst. Or +1 into Firestorm potentially. We have Lethal in hand with the Wind Soldier. Flame Burst. Pass, I guess. And there we have it. My opponent already knows it's probably going to be over. Very likely I could have a Wind Soldier in hand or a Campfire from an Outland Ranger. But there we go. That gives you a better idea of how to win in these kind of mid-range matches with Yellow Tempo. I don't believe that my more aggressive line in the first game was correct necessarily. It was just something I wanted to try out because of my hand. It's down to interpretation. More experienced Yellow Tempo players like ESofDawn and Cappuccino, if they're watching it, they can probably say if I went right there. So if you are an experienced Yellow Tempo player, I know we're going back to a previous match, but let me know what you think of my decisions that I made there. But there we go, we have a win on the board. Let's get into our next game. Alright guys, into another match. We're going against Mino Caro. This is going to be a very difficult matchup. I want to keep the Manta Rider. I want to keep the Fanatic. I think I'm just going to throw this. We get the Colossus. A bit clunky, unfortunately, but we'll work. We'll make it work. I'm probably not going to go for the Fanatic next turn. I'm just going to go straight for the Manta Rider. I do miss out on the Faeria, but I do like using the mobility of the Fanatic to move the Manta Rider around the board like we did in the last game. Lots of red on ladder so far. Because it's a little awkward if we go for Fanatic, because then we can't play the Manta Rider in this position, and I want to use the Manta Rider as a way to leverage the board. Now, alternatively, I could have went for Fanatic, made a desert here, collected, then played the Manta Rider here, and then it could move up this side of the board. That is a different kind of way I can do it, but I want to use like I said, I want to use the Manta Rider to fight for me. A little awkward, this guy showing up. So I think we actually just go for this instead now, just because of the way the Explore has been laid down here into the mountain. I can't play a Manta Rider here and have my opponent Gift of Steel, because then dealing the 1 damage is going to be awkward unless I draw the Emperor's Command, which is a one-off, so I can't rely on that. So I'm gonna send the Manta Rider on a little journey up this way, and then start to apply pressure from this angle. So we kind of, I guess we could have had the Fanatic down, because the Fanatic would be able to collect here. But I think I'm fine. I'm fine without committing the Fanatic just yet. We also have Wind Soldier as a follow-up, which is pretty good for us, unless a Gift of Steel does come down. So many Fanatics, absolutely crazy. Now I can just clear the board here. Give my opponent the Faeria refund. I can go for a land, play the Wind Soldier, clear this guy out, play the Fanatic, move here, then go here, collect off this well, and finish this guy off. I think that is going to be our plan for now. We'll save that neutral, actually. So, yeah, play the Wind Soldier. Clear this out. Move. Play the Fanatic. Move. Clear the Brigand. And get that neutral down here. So we have an aggressive avenue if we want it. I could even just double neutral straight across and start attacking from this well. I don't think I'll need to just yet. But I like having that option available if I want it. Now, my opponent got a Mountain of Faeria in refunds from the combat, but is better than just leaving them up. I might as well take board control and force my opponent to have responses to my current board state. So Ground Shaker into Firestorm here would be pretty tasty actually. Just going like for a mountain here, again that Axe Grinder spot, dropping the Ground Shaker, popping up with a Manta Ride and just Firestorm to finish them off. Now if he doesn't have an answer to both of these, it puts me in a pretty good position because it still allows me to collect a reasonable amount of Faeria. I also have the mobility to move around the board with the Fanatics. So if I was to pick up, let's say I was to pick up like a Soul Drain, maybe even like a Kaleem's Train, and I might be able to get something done. Well, we'll see what happens. Mina's going to just take his time here and figure out exactly what he wants to get done. I think it's going to be Ground Shake. It's going to be Garadan, okay. Into Cypher's Wrath? No Cypher's Wrath. So we could go really aggressive here if we wanted to. We could go for the aggressive Shaitan Demon on this position, although I do open myself up to a Bomb Slinger from this mountain. So perhaps I don't want to do that just yet. Maybe I could just double neutral for now, like I was going to, and then set up the demon on this well. And then I'm not in Bomb Slinger range. Just curious on what I want to do with the little Manta. I think I could just move him across to this well, and then have him double collect on the opposite side of the board. Now, I don't want to invest too much into these small creatures, simply because of another Firestorm, or another AoE ability. Could be pretty deadly going forward. And the one thing I like about Fnatic here, rather than this here, is if I pick up the Wind Soldier and the Garadan does decide to clear out the Fnatic, I have a very easy answer to this with a Wind Soldier follow-up. But Firestorm, pretty good here actually. Bomb Slinger, like I was saying, don't want to play that Shaitan into a Bomb Slinger. Yeah, things are looking interesting for us going forward. Because now we can just go for the aggressive Desert, and we can get this Demon down and start pushing 5 damage a turn. Now this card does concern me slightly, especially if it just zips straight across and it's going to angle itself to come down to push for 6 in this direction. But if I pick up the last Nightmare, I could be in a pretty good position. Oh, now it's going into a more defensive position. Okay. Outland Ranger's pretty good here, actually. Let's go for a draw. Wind Soldier. Okay. Our first event. Let's get that damage in. This clears. This comes down and double collects. I'm really sad. I'm kind of sad I can't Wind Soldier this and collect. But I feel like I should Wind Soldier anyway. Because right now, Garadan has to come back down in order to develop that aggressive mountain in this spot. So I'm not giving that to my opponent for free. So the Cypher can just trade with the Shaitan Demon here. Garadan can double collect. And then if the Outland Ranger lives, I might be in a decent position to continue my pressure. That's a Bomb Slinger if I've ever smelt one. Bomb Slinger onto the Outland Ranger, finish off the Shaitan Demon. I think Garadan's in a position where it can just push 6 damage on the follow-up. It's a pretty good answer there. Oh, Wind Soldier. Emperor's Command. So I can slow down the collection up here. But I'm not really getting much else done, unfortunately. I think I'm just going to play a Fnatic to block this Garadan and finish it off with a Wind Soldier. So I've fallen behind now. The double Bomb Slinger, all the combo removal that happened to come down there really hurt my chances of winning this game. But I think Red Comet generally has a good matchup against Yellow Tempo if it gets those removals at the right time, because their removal is so efficient against Yellow Tempo. Now, Bomb Slinger's just hitting Shaitan Demons. Very clean answer to that. Or even just these little Fanatics. You know, Cypher's Wrath kills them, which is a problem as well. You got Garadan, Firestorm, Flame Burst. There's just so many removal options. Alright, we got a Cap 10. So you stick a draw again, because we're not really getting up to much right now with this hand. Take the collection, just clear the Garadan and pass. So the defensive Fanatic really paid off there. Is giving me a bit of time. I can set up an Outland Ranger in an aggressive position next turn. Campfire it as well, just get the cost reduction on the Windstorm Colossus. Alternatively, I could just put it into the collection, but oh, this is brutal. This is hard for me to deal with now. Especially without that Nightmare available. I think that's all she wrote, actually. It's so clunky. You never want to draw these early. Well, let's see what my opponent gets up to. We know there's a Gift of Steel in hand, so it just needs 1 damage, which is not hard for Red to pull off, especially with Flame Burst. You know, Ground Shaker's going to be able to finish me off. I've used my healing as well. So I'm in a pretty dire position. So I'm just going to see what comes down and probably drop that Concede. Yeah. Interesting. Sure there's just going to be some form of creature follow-up. Yeah, and that's going to be it there. So, you know, Red Combat proven to be a big problem. Played against a very skilled opponent as well, who's actually second in the seeding for the Aurora Seasonal Cup. So, you know, Minokara really been putting the work in there, and it has shown. But I think that the biggest issue I had in that game was the Brigands. The Brigands are just such good value. If I have to hit into them and my opponent gets Faeria back, it's very difficult for me to leverage well control when my opponent has so much Faeria to combo removal off of my very cheap creatures. But there we have it. We have Minokara taking a victory there. Currently 1-2, but we'll keep going and hopefully we can get further up the ladder. Alright guys, into the next match. Gonna mulligan this full hand, nothing useful there. We finally get an Outland Ranger to kick things off. I'm very happy about that. That basically means I can get a turn 1 Harvester down. Which I am not gonna complain about. We can just go for the desert here. We only need 2 deserts currently to play our hand out. I know Manta Riders and Last Nightmares cost 3 deserts, but we don't need 3 deserts right now. We don't really need to rush towards it. It's a nice and easy turn here. Just get the desert down on the well, collect, desert here, probably desert here if we can get there. And then we have the dash path for the Colossus, we have the charge path for the Wind Soldiers. Everything's lining up beautifully. Gabrian Cistern, interesting. 2 cisterns? What is going on? Okay. So we're going to play the Shaitan Demon just to collect off 2 wells. Outland Ranger's just going to chill out at this well, and then the Shaitan Demon's going to move up. Collect here. If any creature comes down on this point, I can also double neutral. Speak of the devil. I can double neutral up, and then I can clear it. Oh, okay. Okay, we're just going to go for the Last Nightmare instead. And take our last desert from the Manta Rider. It's all working out very nicely for us. Yep, we'll Nightmare this. And I guess we just pass for now. Can't afford the Manta Rider. Lots of Faeria generated from these cisterns. I haven't really been able to answer them. I'm not that concerned about them, to be honest. They can do what they want. I can kill one of them next turn if I want to slow down the Faeria progression. Mirror Phantasm, pretty good draw. I'm going to put 2 very sturdy creatures down. I personally am just going to ignore a lot of this right now and just go for the orb. The shimmy across. Manta Rider. Gonna keep a hold of the campfire for now because I could use the campfire in combination with one of these creatures if I need to. I can also see what happens here. MP just gonna move back probably. Oh, go for the swordfish. 6. Okay. How do I... Wow, I haven't seen a swordfish in a while. How do I want to answer this? I'd love to be able to Wind Soldier and Fanatic or something like that. I don't really want to use my Manta Rider if I can get away with it. I'm going to go for a draw because I want to find Soul Drain. I think Soul Drain is how I want to deal with this problem. Okay. I don't have enough Faeria. That's a problem. I want to Fanatic up, Fanatic the Fanatic, Campfire it, and then Wind Soldier it, but I don't have the resources to do that. So I think I just move this up 1. I can Wind Soldier here. Go for the Campfire on the Demon. So we can, we can clear this out now. We can jump this back and we can move this. So we're putting the Fanatic now in a position where it can clear something. The Phantasm trading off with the Demon's pretty good, I think, for me, because I can still push 8 damage if I want it. And my opponent does have to develop land in this position in order to not only trade with the Demon, but also if this is special land, this Phantasm isn't going to double collect, which benefits me. I know my opponent has a mountain of Faeria, but any little extra Faeria is always really good, especially for these kind of control decks. And actually Phantasm is going to retreat, wants to defend, which is no surprise to me. Lots of different colours so far, as you can see. Is this a free wish deck potentially? I don't know. We'll have to see. A little way off free wishes. I'm just curious to see what is going to happen here. I guess it's just going to be a trade. Like I said, that works out very well for me. Now I'm thinking about clearing the Phantasm just to slow down the Faeria generation. I know my opponent has a lot of Faeria to work with, but then again I could just play more aggressive in this position. I guess I could go here, I could Flash Wind, then I could go here, push free, clear out the Phantasm, then just get the Colossus on this mountain. I like that. I'm gonna do that. I'm happy with that line. I should have drawn first. I didn't really work out what I was going to do with the rest of my Faeria. I guess I could just +1. I could just +1, just in case there's Garadan. If there's Garadan, I just still have some Faeria to work with. So while my opponent does have, like I said, a huge amount of Faeria, it's not really doing much right now because what can 18 Faeria do on these lands right now? Like I said, Garadan can come down. Garadan could come down, but I've covered the mountain now, so I can't see Garadan coming down. Gonna have Fagoro, gonna use that Urna Gabria to go back up to 10 Faeria, but also draw some cards. I'm covering a lake here, so I'm covering a lake and a mountain, so another Fagoro can't even come down. Puts me in a pretty good position to win next turn unless there's some removal. This is just lethal. We have lethal on board. So my opponent needs to maybe block. Blocking's pretty good at this point. Devouring Plant, that's not a card you see very often. And a Swordfish, okay. So I have a little bit of maneuvering to do. Doesn't put me in a brilliant position. I can clear this, and then I could jump over, and then we could clear the Devouring Plant to make sure my Manta lives, and also make sure my Fanatic lives. I think I could go for an aggressive desert, or just a desert here and play a demon. I do have mobility, so this does give me an opportunity to draw. That's pretty good. I'd just rather play that, to be honest. Alright. Let's clear that. Move across. Do I want to use the Flash Wind to get a cost reduction? Because I can Flash Wind now with this up 1. Yeah, I think I like that. So I can Flash Wind this first. Then get the reduction. Then move up, then collect. So I gained 2 extra Faeria, and I got to cost reduce my Colossus by 1. So I'm going into the next turn with some Faeria to work with, which I quite like, and I still have this really menacing board. Now, I'm super open to Gyarados and Firestorm, but, you know, I'm just playing to my outs here. I just want to win the game at this point. Jumps, Fagoro, in. The Fagoro off the Gemshell Tortoise is pretty tasty. Copy 2 Faeria free fires with jump that refund themselves through an Urn Gabria and draw 2 cards. It's good stuff. Oh, I'm gonna go for value. The bravery here. How do I do this? Well, I have lethal just with the Wind Soldier at this point. If I can get the hit in with the Manta. So I'm thinking of moving here, making the desert here for the Wind Soldier in the future. Just hitting for 7, clearing out the 6-1, getting a demon down in this position. Actually, we should put Demon here, because the Fagoro can't clear the Demon on its own. These two can trade just fine. If I put the Demon in this position, the Mirror Phantasm gets to clear the Demon, and then the Fagoro gets to clear the Wind Soldier. But in this position here, now the Demon's in a weird spot. Like, the Phantasm can't get to it, the Fagoro can't clear it. So using the mobility trick with the Origin Fanatic on the follow-up, I might be able to just get lethal with the Shaitan Demon. That is a possibility. We have a lot of good outs here, like double Kaleem's Training is lethal on the Wind Soldier. We also have another Colossus as well, which is pretty good. We have a lot of gas. We just need to draw a few more cards, I think. Our opponent managed to kind of accelerate the hand advantage with the double Fagoro off that Gemshell Tortoise, but we should still be in a good position. I'm curious to see what happens here. So Phantasm goes for a collection. If a mountain comes down, it's probably going to be a Firestorm. Devouring Plant, depending on its position, could be a little awkward. If a Devouring Plant was to come down here, I would have to find, say, a Kaleem's Training. Realistically. I'm going to jump Fagoro into Urn. Don't think there's enough time. Yeah, no, I think, is Devouring Plant? No, I think that was a Devouring Plant there. And that is going to be the victory. A very difficult turn for my opponent, but well played. Very interesting deck. I'm curious to see what this build is and what the win condition is. It looks like Gemshell Tortoise. But yeah, good game. Good game. Nice to see some very unique builds this early on in the season. So let's move on to our next match. Alright guys, final match of Episode 1, Season 2, and we're going up against Jung Woo. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a tough game. Jung Woo always bringing the spiciest lists in Faeria, so I am always curious to see what Jung Woo is playing with. He doesn't follow any conventions. He definitely is one of the most creative deck builders this game has ever had. So it's always exciting to play against Jung Woo. He's not only is he a talented player, but just an exceptional deck builder. We have a Bone Collector to kick things off. Oh, that's a dangerous card. That's a card I never want to mess with. I'm going to go for the Campfire here to play around the Deepwood Stalker. If Deepwood Stalker was to come down, I'd lose my Collector, and this Bone Collector would be in a pretty good position, especially if the Deepwood Stalker came down here, just as a way to soak up those creatures dying and getting that +1. So we're looking at a land in this position. So this is probably some kind of variant. Yeah, this is probably some kind of salamander build. I think I am going to soul drain this now. Don't want it to get value because a power-up could come down on the follow-up. Then we're going to play the demon in this position to challenge the Bone Collector. So the Bone Collector needs to get 2 power to get out of reach of my demon. Wind Soldier is a bit awkward when trying to clear it because the Bone Collector will gain a +1/+1 power-up, so Wind Soldier only actually does 2 damage against the Bone Collector, so that's something I have to consider if a power-up does come down. The Bone Collector looking eager to harvest some Faeria off this well. Yep, I think Bone Collector's going in. Might see a land come down to block. It's going to be a Tiki Caretaker, just push it a little bit out of reach. So if we think back to what I said about the Wind Soldier, the Wind Soldier only does 2 damage. Now the problem I do have a problem with the Shaitan dying to this, but I don't feel like I have much of a choice. So let's get the Wind Soldier. It's going to collect, it's going to deal 2 damage, like I said. It's going to gain +1 from the Wind Soldier dying. There we go. Finish that off. We can move the Outland Ranger up. As a threat, just saying to the Tiki Caretaker, if you want this Faeria, you're going to have to go for the Outland Ranger. The Tiki Caretaker is not bothered. It's going to be a Living Willow in the back there as a defender. This is going to be a mountain. Set up for that salamander. And there we go, salamander just coming down in the middle. All these fanatics. Fanatics are not what I'm after right now. Let's take a draw. Wind Soldier, okay. Yeah, I think we just back out and we Wind Soldier this. We just pass. A very slow-paced game so far, mainly because my hand is just so bad. If I had like Manta Riders and stuff to work with, it wouldn't be that terrible because I could move the Manta Riders around the board to get me Faeria, but 3 Fanatics and an Outland Ranger doesn't really work, unless I pick up a Kaleem's Training as well. Kaleem's Training could be pretty handy. Oh, a lake, okay. So this is telling me this is some form of salamander gem-shelled tortoise build. Alright, Manta Rider pickup, very nice. Kaleem's Training, I just picked up both the cards I wanted. Excellent. So I can go here. Move up. Go for the Fanatic. Fanatic's positioning is a little awkward, but I don't mind too much. Go here. Let's kill the salamander. I'm going to go for the Manta Rider. Manta Rider, fantastic draw for me. Especially with the Kaleem's Train. They all kind of lined up perfectly in that position. This is going to be a Gem Shell Tortoise. Hopefully my opponent doesn't find removal. That would be the worst case scenario for me right now. Double Eridan? That's gross. I don't want to play against double Eridan. I'm pretty sure that's unfair. Okay, we're just gonna have to go for a draw, I guess. We can kill the Eridan. Feels bad, guys. Can also kill the Willow. But go for the Fanatic. Oh man, this is just these Gem Shell Tortoises have been nuts today. The double for Goro, which didn't actually work out that well in the end, but the double Eridan, really? I don't want to have to deal with that. So my plan is now to move on this side of the board with this Manta Rider. I need to pick up a Last Nightmare or something. Because things have just got incredibly difficult. The longer this game goes, the worse it's going to be for me. Especially with a Eridan coming down. So, for example, like the Gem Shell Tortoise are 8/8s. Why? Why do I have to deal with that right now? I really don't want to. Draw. Yeah, I can go here, here, hit face. What? How do I win this game now? That's the big question. How am I going to win this game? Is board control enough? I can take out the Willow. I can take out the Eridan. So I can clear the board of a lot of threats and still leave my 2/2 here. Maybe I could go for a Shaitan Demon, or maybe I just put a Fanatic back here. I think I go for a board control line. So let's get that going. So I'm going to go for the board control line. I'm going to go up here, clear the Willow, go over here, clear the Eridan. And I'm just kind of praying there isn't a Firestorm follow-up. Let's take an aggressive land. I can't play the Demon. Double Yakapult. 4 7s. That is a problem. But I do have Nightmare. Nightmare is pretty good here because I can Nightmare this. I can Nightmare this. I can then move and push 2, then move here and make an aggressive desert. Get ready for those demons, because now this Yakapult covers this desert, which doesn't help me. So yeah, let's just go in here. Collect. I guess we could go desert there instead. So this little guy can still double collect, and then this 2/2 can still push a little bit of damage or collect off this well, depending what happens. I'm gonna use this as a collector for sure. So this is angling in a way to cover the desert. So I might have to take another desert here, actually. To make things a little awkward for this Yakapult. That's a pretty good Recurring Reveler showing up. A 3/4 Recurring Reveler? For 2 Faeria? This essentially is playing this card and this dying means my opponent gains Faeria. Just gains Faeria for playing this card. Now it's got a Gift of Krakoa to back it up. Oh my goodness. How am I supposed to stop this nonsense? I don't know. that's the truth. Ah, see now. Oh, so cheeky. Look how much coverage this Yakapult has. I guess I can Wind Soldier this. I can hit for 2. And be pretty miserable about it. I can move this here, I guess, because then it can double collect from this position. Go for the demon. Try and get something going. I really need Colossus. Now, Colossus could get me back into this game. If I can get a Colossus down, it's going to be difficult, especially with a 6-7 Rakoan Reveler lurking as well. I might just have to finish this off with the Demon. Give that big refund of Faeria and just hope a Colossus can save me from this very dire situation. Now, this might move up here to cover this well spot. And then I just move back here, and then this moves back here. And I'm just making the Yakapult move around a lot. That might be a Willow now. Another Yakapult! Oh my goodness. I cannot escape. I can collect here, it's pretty safe. Alright, we need to find a Colossus. It's a shame I can't Emperor's Command this and finish it off with the demon living. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I just clear this now so the Yakapult doesn't get value. I have one nightmare left. One last nightmare remaining. That's a big Deepwood Stalker. It's going to just munch up my little mantra on the side there. Ooh, I did draw it. I did draw it. That's pretty good. So we're just trying to get towards these Colossus. So we're just removing the right-hand side Yakapult now, so if I can set up a Manta Rider here, I can get 5 damage in. It's going to die to the Yakapult, then I'll have the 2-2. 2-2 can potentially push another 2 damage, and then I can set up the Colossus. Oh man, these Willows. Oh no, this is too much for me. Stop it, Jungwoo, stop it! What is this? Oh my goodness, what's going on? What is this? Oh, a little too late, little Colossus. Well played, Jungwoo. Always bringing the spice. And there we go, Yakapult, Tricolor, Gemshell, Eridan, Grappling Hook, nonsense. Takes a win from Yellow Temple, they're able to stall me out. The double Eridan off the Gemshell was just bonkers, like, absolutely ridiculous. But there we have, good games so far. You know, my trip with Yellow Temple wasn't that great. It's not a deck that I've played a lot of recently, but if you can get used to Yellow Tempo, if you can get good at it, it can be a very strong deck to climb the ladder with. That wraps up this episode of Become a God, episode 1 of this new season, and you know it was a bit of a mixed episode really, but we got to see some really fun decks, and we got to see some of the players that will be participating in this weekend's seasonal cup. We got to see Minokara, we also got to see Jungwoo, so I'm very excited to see what those players decide to bring in our most prestigious competitive Faeria event. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. If you'd like to see some more ladder play from myself, be sure to check out the first season of Become a God. I play a lot of blue-red gem shell, so if that's a deck you're interested in, you could probably learn a few things from me playing it, as I do go through all my plays like I have done in this video. So until next time guys, take care and enjoy Yellow Tempo.